Thank you, everyone. It's always hard to be the first one, so bear with us. I want to start thanking to the steering committee, to the organizers, to the World Movement for Democracy, to NET, to all the partners gathered here. We accept this recognition on behalf of the Venezuelan democratic movement. This is not just a tribute, but a powerful reminder of everything that we have fought for and all that we have sacrificed, but also of everything that still remains to be done. When the courage of the Venezuelan democratic movement is recognized, it is not about a few names, it is not about a few leaders. It is about millions of citizens, an entire country who refuses to give up, who have proven time and again that despite everything, we have the strength to keep moving forward. The presidential election on July 28 of this year was a testament of that courage. On that day, we, the Venezuelan people, made it clear that ours is not a divided or polarized country. We are not a country between two halves. We are not a nation trapped between extremes. We are a country united in the call for change, represented in the leadership of Maria Corina Machado and our president-elect Edmundo González Urrutia. That day, despite the lack of conditions, despite being under the worst repression and harassment, thanks to the organization, the unity and the mobilization of hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans, we achieved what seemed impossible. We won the presidential election against the regime. We proved that it's possible that under their rules and under their conditions, democratic movements can achieve success. And also we showed that we are ready to close this horrible chapter of repression, division, and suffering. And we are more than ready to start building the future of freedom, justice, and democracy that we deserve. Yet, in moments like this, the question always arises: what is the point of an award of a recognition like this if you are still fighting against a dictatorship? And I must say, it matters. It matters because it keeps our cause and our struggle alive. It matters because it ensures that our voice and our truth is heard. The fact that today here, in the land of Nelson Mandela, this space is dedicated to Venezuela demonstrates that our struggle matters and that we remain as a beacon of hope and resistance for those who believe in freedom. However, even as I stand here, more than 2,000 people, including children, are unjustly detained and subjected to torture in my country just because of their political belief. Thousands of mothers are mourning their children killed by repression. Millions of Venezuelans suffer daily from an humanitarian emergency created by corruption. A million more, like Rodrigo and me, are scattered around the world with our hearts and our brain fixated in our motherland, in our homeland where we want to be back. Our teams are resisting right now in clandestinity, in hiding, in asylum, or in exile. But we remain fighting. And this recognition is for every one of them. And I hope they listen to me from the safe houses and the embassies in which they are right now protecting their life. This recognition is for you, for the ones who have lost everything and yet remain standing and fighting for freedom and justice. Venezuela resists every day, and we continue to fight because we know that freedom is possible. This is a message of strength for those who are resisting, for those who cannot be here, for those who represent the very best of our countries. Because when Venezuela is free, and believe me folks, we will be free, this recognition will be part of that history of struggle, resistance, and hope. I want to thank again the steering committee. I want to thank everyone who has made this possible, and I want to thank all of you for taking care and paying attention to our situation. What is happening here in these days is really important. This connection and support among journalists, artists, activists, civil society, organizations, politicians like me, understanding that your cause is our cause, that our struggle for freedom and for justice is also your struggle for freedom and for justice, that we are not alone in this. We are together and we are going to succeed. Thank you. And now, I want to introduce Rodrigo Diamanti, that we were just remember backstage. 10 years ago, Rodrigo and I had an encounter. Rodrigo was detained in the political police headquarters, and I managed to get access after he was disappeared. And we were saying backstage, if the Rodrigo of the past will ask to the Miguel of the past 10 years ago that we were going to be here today, we will call each other crazy. But we are here because we know that change in our country is possible, and we are going to achieve it. Thank you. Rodrigo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I have to say that I'm always inspired by this nation. And many years ago, this whole nation, millions of people were united only under one slogan. Amandla. 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 Awetu. Power to the people. And this is what this award means to us. Power to the people of Venezuela who have been fighting for the last 25 years of their life, of our existence, without hesitating, giving our heart, our spirit, and our soul, and even our life. 25 years of fight where more than 8 million people have left the country just because of brutal autocracy. More than 20,000 people have been detained just because they raised their voice for freedom and democracy. And hundreds were killed by the unlawful regime. So we commemorate that sacrifice. But I also have to commemorate that we have learned these 25 years that our biggest strength is unity. We learn that only if political parties, civil society, unions, journalists, artists, entrepreneurs, and the whole society work together, we will succeed. We will recover our democracy. I have to say also that for us, it's not only symbolic that 10 years after one of the worst moments of my life, but I have to say that when I was detained, even my grandmother died that day. I couldn't go to her funeral because I was in a cell. But 10 years after, we're being awarded in a magical city. Johannesburg is one of the most magical cities in the world. You know why? Because a man that was born in India, that then learned law in England, find the purpose of his life here in this city when he was oppressed and sentenced to prison just because of the color of his skin. That man, Mohandas Gandhi, was born in India, but he was born again here in Johannesburg as Mahatma Gandhi, because here in that oppression is where the fire of his heart was ignited. And he used that strength to fight for his country and liberate India. And that fire later was passed to another beautiful man, Martin Luther King, who followed that leadership of nonviolence and fight against segregation in the United States. And years after, one amazing man that we all love, Nelson Mandela, received that fire and that torch to create one of the most beautiful nations in the world, South Africa, a nation for all races. All of that started here in this city. So I have to say, this is one of the biggest honors of our life. And I have to say that we are going to win. We are going to use this fire and send it to the millions of Venezuela who are still fighting in the street for freedom. That will never stop until we find our democracy back. Because that's the only way to win, to never stop. And we will never stop. And we feel that we are not alone, thanks to you. And all of you, I have to tell you that you are not alone, that we will win, that all our fights, we're going to conquer our freedom, because that's the purpose of our life, to liberate ourselves from oppression. We came here to earth for that. And this is a representation of that. We're going to liberate Venezuela, and then we're going to start fighting to liberate the rest of humanity that live 70% under dictatorships. We cannot tolerate that anymore. And we need to fight for freedom the rest of our life. That's why we're here. Thank you very much for the World Movement for Democracy. United, we have to scream one more. Power to the people. Amandla! 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 Love you all. Thank you.